I'm going to make 2 loaves of plain sourdough bread. So I just took the starter out of the fridge, and you can see there's just a little bit at the bottom, very tiny bit. And I'm going to look at the recipe. The recipe says I need 250 grams of active sourdough starter to make 2 loaves. So I'm going to split that in half between the water and the flour to make my leaven. So I'm going to start the scale, and I'm going to see that it's okay, 0. So I need 250 grams split in half, I need 125 grams of water and 125 grams of flour. I find that if I add a little bit more flour than water, it's a little easier to make the bread. So I'm going to actually do 110 grams of water and 140 grams of flour. It doesn't have to be exact, so I did 124. That's okay, because I need a little starter left over. Just give it a nice little stir. So because my scale will hold quite a bit, I can just leave the container on there and measure the 140 grams of flour. Again, going a little bit over because I did the same thing with the water. It doesn't have to be exact. So I can tear this again, pretend like there's nothing in there, and I'm going to add 140 grams, or even possibly 150 grams of flour. All right, there we go. So altogether, plenty to use my 250 grams total later on for the recipe. So stir in the flour, and that, you can see, becomes kind of a dough all by itself. Now I'll stir it a little bit more after I turn off the camera, because stirring with one hand is impossible. But one thing I'll do to make sure I know when the leaven is ready to use is go ahead and mark the jar where this leaven ends up in the beginning before it rises. It could go in a bowl, a glass, it doesn't really matter, as long as I have enough space for it to more than double. Okay, so I'm looking for it to go up to at least here before I use it. Right, and then I'm gonna put that aside and wait for it to rise. Should take, I don't know, at least 4 hours.